Ryan's starting to smile.
I don't know what I said.
Wow. Oh, I'm in charge of this thing. I can't laugh too much.
It's funny as fuck.
This is shit that somebody will clip and be like, "Look at these guys."
It's the music, man. Oh, I can't breathe.
Oh man.
Oh man. I'll piss my pants.
This is fucking Jay. I'm so mad.
Wow.
Oh, shit.
Oh my God.
Oh, fuck, dude.
Oh man, that's so great.
Yeah.
Jay,
And,
you there, right, bro?
I
Jay's
can't
dying.
hold it.
Fuck,
Jay, you're
Jay.
still laughing.
Jay's losing his shit, bro. Like,
Jeremy can't.
I tried to hold it together. I was like,
I don't know why I can't stop laughing at this.
There you go.
Water.
Jay, drunk through PO, unmute. God. What's wrong with Jay?
I don't know. He doesn't respond to me. You want to try and get him on, but you know what? That doesn't matter. We are live. What is up, everyone? Back at you with another JaredCast IRL, and today I have a big announcement. I am going to start to do content on Rumble, and I've got locals. Now, being someone like me, I don't know how to work these things. I'm a boomer when it comes to that stuff. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm going to have to ask some people, how am I supposed to do this? But, that's pretty big because the quartering, let me actually get him up right now. Jeremy from the quartering. So, the quartering, I think he's getting... Look at this. This was on the homepage of Rumble. quartering's leaving, honestly, I think that's where it is gonna have to be. If I wanted to go live there, I'm at least 2 more subs away on Rumble from the following. And I don't know I have no idea what I'm doing on Rumble. And locals, though I have seen that it's much easier to make money on those sites, not as opposed to YouTube. I don't know. I'm kind of my brain's fried, We've got so much being fried with 5G. We've got all this going on. There's stuff.
Of
What's this? This is going well. I mean, I'm supposed to cover the Hunter Biden stuff. What's this? He likes German Shepherd, the quartering.
stop making me defend Trump, you fucking cocksucking liars.
Oh my God, Tim.
The media lied about everything. Yeah. And it got to the point where I'm just like, the media has lied to me so much. I am screaming in rage and punching walls. I am sick of these fucking disgusting people. And then Ron DeSantis goes, I'm actually going to do the exact same thing. And I fucking slap the table. Fuck you. Don't vote for Ron DeSantis. He wants to play a game. He wants to shill for these corporate.
I took a deep fake. I mean, something was going to have to move. But come on, Tim. Man, Jeremy Griggs is going to go off on Tim on CobraCast on Wednesday.
Neocon, like he's getting donors from these corporate neocons. I'm like, well, it's fine. Yeah. Like it is what it is. He's got good policies. And then he comes out and he goes, I'm going to do the exact same thing the corporate press has been doing that's been driving you all nuts because I'm one of them. And I'm like, fuck off. You're done. You are done.
He was so good on the COVID policy, man.
He is
inspirational.
Fake news. He's fake news. That's what he is. So fuck it. I'm sick of 8 years of stop.
But I'm going to go off on my own tangent here. All right. Ron DeSantis. Ron, drop out today. Drop out now. Endorse Trump. I don't want to go off on too much because my stream is going to. So you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to simply shut my door. All right, DeSantis, you want to hear something? You disloyal piece of crap. Trump fought for you. He got you elected. Look at what you do. You stab him straight in the back. Pull out the daggers. You're no better than Pence, Chris Christie, Nikki Haley, all these other people, Mike Pompeo. You're just another scumbag rhino. That's all you are. You're a fucking liar. DeSantis. I'm I still can't believe they're actually shilling for DeSantis. Still, even after everything. Oh, the tapes got released. Yeah, BS. I mean, what the hell is... You can't tell me that DeSantis is trustworthy. He's going to get us into more war. Is that what they... I mean, I'm not sure. A lot of these people probably have Ukraine flags in their body, but I cannot understand why people are still shilling. He is going down in you. You are like Hitler in the bunker. DeSantis is not going to win. And the fact you think he is, you're delusional. You're like a Democrat. You clearly are paid. You know, you're probably even worse than a Democrat. A simp is worse than a Democrat. I'll say it here. You heard it. Anyone who shills for Ron DeSantis is worse than a Democrat, because we know the Democrats are evil. We know Mitch McConnell. Mitch McConnell's a Democrat. I was going to say Chuck Schumer, but Mitch McConnell's basically a Democrat. He's already outed, but I'd say he's worse because he stabbed. I'd say DeSantis is the worst one. Pence is probably number 2 because they claim to be these loyal figures to Trump, and when Trump needed them the most, they had their knives out. And you're like, oh, what about Prigozhin? Prigozhin's crazy, in my opinion. He's crazy. Thinking that he was probably under some sort of delusion. DeSantis, I assume he's there. I assume that he's still in the head. What the is wrong with him? The thing. He got money. Let's be honest. Ron DeSantis got money from, it's pretty much official. Just wait until the tapes are. Just wait until everything comes out. DeSantis, there's polls. Let me get some polls up. Because hang on. Also, these events he's holding. People don't look like.
And in the past, it's like the all-American one company going back decades. We've put this company on a pedestal. And in the past, it's like the all-American company, right? But they've really embraced the idea of getting the sexualized content in the programming for the young kids. And that is just a line that I am not.
This is in New Hampshire, which apparently it's been trending red. Not sure. Also, this doesn't accuse people like McCarthy or MTG. You think MTG's really behind Trump? No. She tried to stage that whole thing with Kanye. She was working with Milo. Milo was being with her. Laura Loomer has the evidence. This is someone who's more honest.
hey, everybody, people watching this campaign are thinking that we probably have $100 million in the bank because I've now got 20% in the polls in the Democratic primaries against President Biden, and I have the strongest favorability ratings of either President Biden or President Trump in a general election. So when we have to make our filing on July 1st with the Federal Election Commission, people are going to be surprised that we have raised less than $4 million. I've spent practically every moment since this campaign started, not on fundraising, but on getting my message out to the people. And I have to say that in the process of that, I've alienated probably every big money donor in the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. So I'm not going to be getting any money from those guys.
You'll be getting money from we the
We're not
people.
spending your money on expensive consultants or glossy TV commercials. We're doing this on a busman's budget. But with that, we have a 50-state organization. We're blowing up social media. We're really performing very well on the podcast, and we've made that $4 million perform like $400 million. I hope that you also have an assurance that when I get to the White House, I'm going to spend your money wisely as well. I want to ask you if you intended to give to the campaign at some point to do it between now and the end of this month, before July 1st. That's when it's going to really count for us. So even if you can only give $5 or $10, I value that very, very much. So please give us your support today.
Ladies and gentlemen, the great RFK Jr. I think in a perfect world, Trump runs as either he becomes Trump's vice president, or they make some agreement where RFK continues to run as a third party to take votes away from Biden and later gets a position in Trump's cabinet. That would be those are a really good one. I just wish, Trump actually came out and said that Bobby Kennedy Jr., who I hope he makes it far. And actually, so Alex Jones, he's been in Florida with Pastor Brown.
Thank you.
And Pastor Dr. Rodney Howard Brown actually followed me, so shout out to him. Shout out to that great evangelical. I think he's actually he's a pastor. He's from South Africa, actually. Something me.
Go ahead, sir.
Hey, good evening, Pastor. Alex. So I have a two-part question. How do you feel about DeSantis being president?
It's not going to happen now. Trump's 30 points ahead of him after the indictment. And I think DeSantis just needs to be the governor of Florida and do a great job. Trump.
DeSantis needed to stay the governor of Florida. If he just stayed governor of Florida, it would have even been better? He took the money, but instead of running, he just donated all to Trump. Wrote a big check to Trump and then used any leftovers to buy his wife Jill something nice. Or maybe even buy his kids something. But no, he's not. He's using, guess what he's using on to run for president, stabbing Trump in the back directly. And Rodney Howard Brown, so this says that he was arrested in Florida under DeSantis, and DeSantis actually had the guy who the corrupt DA who had him arrested, he had that DA removed, which was a good thing. But
Trump won the last election, and now they've indicted him so that we can't vote for who we want. And so that's what I think should be done with DeSantis. I like DeSantis. I think he's really been weakened by going under the kind of the RNC's operations.
Jeb Bush, yeah.
Go ahead.
Jeb Bush.
Jeb Bush. Yeah. Go ahead, sir.
Karl Rove, Paul Ryan, Georgie Bush. Georgie Bush. You know, all those wars, all those endless wars. You like those? You like endless wars? Well, if we get DeSantis in, we're going to go back to them. You want to see? And this is also a message to the people who hate me. I assume you have loved ones. I assume you have family who still care for you. Do you want them to see you in a body bag, or do you want to see one of your loved ones come back in a body bag? This is what you're going to get with a majority of these candidates. Biden, DeSantis, Christie, Nikki Haley. Oh my, there's only like 3 really, like maybe 2.5, because Vivek, he's against war with Russia, but he seems to be pro-war with China. That's at least Jackson Hinkle's take. I mean, I haven't really followed a lot of Vivek. I've mostly been following Trump and RFK, though Vivek does say a lot of good things. And maybe the China thing is because of India and China's rivalry. I don't know. It's all complicated. Someday I can get more into that, but let's continue.
So you answered my other question, which was, do you feel that he's better off being a governor?
Yes.
Definitely.
I think he's a good man overall. I think he should be, and I think you should understand that Trump had the election. We had the election stolen from us, and all the polls show that now. 20 points out of Biden. They have.
No, I initially thought that DeSantis, he was running. The reason why he wanted to run despite Trump running was because he thought that he could take down the deep state. He could take down. It was like this prideful arrogance. You know, he's like, hey man, I know you want to, but let me. I don't think DeSantis would be right. I think he'd get destroyed. I think he needs to sit back and he should have sat back and waited for the master. But that probably wouldn't matter. I mean, it's probably a plant at this point, just looking at everything.
Of all the Republican candidates, Trump gets 65, 70% of the vote. He'd win by 20, 30 points today. And it's backfired on him. That's why they want to put him in jail so we can't vote for who we want. That's election meddling, 100% proven.
And I think I should just go on record and say there's nobody to vote for other than Trump. There's nobody. So there's nobody. If you're going to vote for anybody, it's only Trump. Unless if Alex runs.
No.
That would be quite the thing. I see this. Just checking got a notification. I don't know. But I think Trump's really got a great chance. Oh. Casey just hey, Big Mike, I think you've got competition, and Alex Jones actually was recently on so we're going to get to some Hunter Biden, but I forgot what it's called here. It was the PBD Patrick Bet David. So, and he actually had recently. So apparently he had the Tate song. Let me actually see. This, he's got clips. He must have clips of it on his Twitter. We'll bring up some of the podcasts. We're not going to bring up the full thing. It's very long. Oh, shout out to Patrick Bet David. I watched
what I want to talk
part of
about
this
is
last night on Cobra Kai.
They came.
Well, I was simultaneously in a argument with some porkwall who thought Mob Rule was good. Guy ended up blocking me when I brought up the French Revolution and asked, "Hey, you know what? Let's have a civil debate." Blocked me.
Out, if you can pull up this article with a fine of this is San Diego families want Alex Jones to pay up $2.75 trillion in damages as he seeks new trial. So here's a question I got for you. Either you're the richest man in the world and we don't know that. How do they collect that kind of money? How do they come up with a number like this to collect from you?
And then they run articles in the New York Times saying
they make it up. That's what they just make it up. They pull it right out of their ass, and that's how they do it. Just pull it right out of their ass.
Jones refuses to pay. How am I? That's the GDP of like Scotland.
Jones refuses
more
to pay.
More than that.
Or France, I think.
Actually, India's GDP is exactly $3 trillion. So they want you to pay India's GDP,
which is 1,500,000,000 people.
Yeah.
I'm not laughing. And they say, why does he laugh? Well, here's the thing. I was found, this is very interesting because this is a new thing. If you wonder why Fox settled Dominion for 700 and something million right as the trial started over questioning the election, which we're not doing. Obviously, all elections are free and fair. Biden's the greatest president ever. I'm serious. I love him. And the shots are wonderful. Take them all. Take hundreds of them.
Yeah.
But seriously, GMO's wonderful. Glyphosate's wonderful. Hunter Biden's great.
Yeah.
Anyway, I love his laptop. It's very entertaining.
I love his laptop too. Oh boy, what's on Hunter Biden's laptop this day?
No, but seriously, what was I gonna say?
No problems here.
I what they do is they in certain jurisdictions like Austin and areas of Connecticut and DC, they go in and this was in the case with or Delaware with the Fox, and the judge defaults you. The judge defaults you and says to the jury, you're guilty. Well, the judge didn't call the default in Dominion with Fox. The judge said, I'm saying you're guilty and you did lie about the election, and I'm going to tell the jury that. We're going to start it from that point. So she did like
I just saw one of them. Patrick Bet Dave, this or MF or Lubin Tubin. Yeah, getting Lubin Tubin on. I'm gonna have to see that at some point. I'm not sure who this person is. This might be someone, because I was doing calls say for Shirley Maya Cusack, who's running for Senate in the state of New Jersey, and got a couple full of good ones. Got some people who just hung up when I heard that. We can't have that mentality. She's running against one of the most corrupt senators. I'm not sure who that was. I really don't know who that was. I was like, someone called me. Apparently, the first person who was diagnosed with autism died. That was like a day ago. Donald Triplett. Back to this.
Soft default with them. That's when they went, whoa, we settled. Well, with me, they did a hard default, said I gave them no information. No, I gave them 4 years of stuff, gave them everything they wanted. And then they had no case because I never made up any of the stuff that they said that I said. And I couldn't put a defense on. The jury's only heard I'm guilty, now decide how much. Then they put financial experts on that never examined our books, didn't want to look at our books, and said I was worth $400 million. At the time of that first trial, I had about $2 million in the bank and then some real estate.
That's it?
Yeah, it's all lies. It's all lies. Sure, I've had gross sales of $60 million before, but when you're selling, water filters and you're only making 30% on them because you give them a good price, yeah, I mean, I've sold $10 million of water filters a year, and then and we end up after everything, getting a couple million, and then I probably get a couple $100,000 out of that. So you know how business is. You don't get the gross amount, and so. They look back over the fact that we made, I mean, probably like $600-700 million in the last 10, 12 years. And they just said, look, he kept $400 million. And then the juries went, well, fine, then give him $1 billion. And then they went back to the judge and said, $1.5 billion in Connecticut's not enough. They said, and that's why it's in Bloomberg. This is not a joke, folks. They said, well, no, we want $2.75 trillion.
How did they come up with that number, though?
They gave an FBI agent who I'd never heard his name, never talked about him. They had none of me on air, none of my crew, no articles. He's listed in the lawsuit from Connecticut. First time I read his name, and he got 90+ million from me. I'm not, and the law says in Connecticut and Texas, you can't sue somebody if they didn't say your name. The judges waived it and said, we don't care. Look it up. He got $95 million. I'd never seen him, did not know his name till I get the lawsuit and I Google his name. And he said on the stand, he got one phone call at his office to make sure he was really an FBI agent. And he said, and that was because of me. I didn't even know who the guy was that called. Then the guy that called his office showed up at the court, and I found his videos on YouTube, just a polite guy calling up saying, hey, people say this didn't happen. I'm just calling to check you're really FBI agent. And the jury
I don't
said,
even remember the guy's name. I don't know.
$90-something million, you got one phone call. Jeez. I want to get one of these phone calls if I get $90 million for it.
Alex, these numbers seem
outrageous. Heck, I'll give me one of these phone calls. Just print 90 million out and just give it to me.
Whether it's $500 million, $1 billion, $1 trillion.
And by the way, the media will say I'm denying it. 4 years ago on your show, I said I thought it happened. I said it 7 years ago, I thought it happened.
But here's my question.
The media just went and took a few things out of context and blew it up.
Here's my question, Alex. Whatever the outrageous number is, you're saying you were never even worth anything close to that. All right. You filed for bankruptcy after that, right?
Yes.
So walk me through the process.
Oh, the judges wouldn't let me tell the jury. The judge in Connecticut said 6 months in jail, contempt. She gave me a list of 20 plus things. Cannot say I'm innocent. This is on TV. And they would cut away at those points. Cannot say I'm innocent. Cannot say I'm in bankruptcy, and cannot present sworn federal documents and my bank accounts, which you go to jail if you lie in bankruptcy.
Yeah. So now walk us through what happens when you're.
I'll go back to this later. The fool thing is, but we got a lot of news about Hunter. I mean, he's doing some stuff. He's doing stuff, you know, but don't mind that. Don't mind that. I mean, New York City's banning pizza ovens. Holy crap, that's crazy. Looking. Why don't we find So I found this one summary on the BBC. It looks long, but it goes over the scandal. So I'll skim over it because if I don't read pure, so we're gonna get mad. So this is Sam Kale, BBC News, Washington. So this is probably BBC America. So Hunter Biden, the only living son of the U.S. president, is starting to attract attention again. He has agreed to plead guilty to 2 misdemeanor tax crimes and to admit to illegally possessing a gun while a drug user, according to. There's a lot more. There's a lot more when it comes to Hunter Biden, but we'll continue. So the younger Mr. Biden, a longtime target of Republican criticism, has been under federal investigation since 2018, and for good reason. His laptop. I mean, I'm not sure if anyone here has looked into his laptop. I only got like a whiff of what was on there. A whiff. Apparently, the farther you go, the worse it gets. That's what I'm hearing. That's what I hear. Let me get this. The plea agreement has not silenced his critics, however. On his Truth Social network, former President Donald Trump called the charges a mere traffic ticket and declared our system is broken. Mr. Trump and his allies have long alleged that the 52-year-old is guilty of widespread corruption, particularly in his foreign business dealings in China and Ukraine. You gotta look deep. Just don't look too deep. You might not like what you see. President Biden, meanwhile, has stood by him through his public and private struggles, calling him the smartest man he ever knew. Ugh. I mean, I guess that's what you do as a parent. But if Joe was really being a good father, he'd go sit down with Hunter and be like, Hunter, we gotta talk about this. Problem is, Hunter probably got it from Joe. If you read Ashley Biden's diary, which I have no intention of reading. You know, I've only heard excerpts, and you can don't. So, hey, to all you leftists, to all you haters out there, reason before you can have a gotcha, why don't you be the ones who read Ashley Bynes' diary? Because I don't want to. Maybe you can read because you're probably into the stuff that's talked about in there. Normal people don't like to look into stuff they're into. They're not in. I had a Freudian slip. I am become Biden. People don't like to look into that stuff that was discussed. They don't. The White House issued a short statement in response to the agreement. The President and the First Lady love their son, continue and support him as he continues to rebuild his life. We will have no further comment. And while the White House press there's actually another video I'll pull up. Let me get up. And these let me actually get the video up because these are from people from more liberal press. And this is on C-SPAN, which is I'd say pretty neutral. They actually lean more left, by the way.
The president invited his son Hunter to the state dinner last night. I'm wondering if you could take us into the thinking.
Yeah, Hunter was day before. Hunter was supposed to have the plea. He met with Merrick Garland, the Attorney General. This is totally political. And actually, look. You know what?
Why the president decided to invite.
I'm just not going to get into
This goes back. We can see this clip from Valuetainment.
As you know, Hunter,
I guess that's where all the Patrick Bet-David clips are.
Hunter Biden
You know what?
wasn't the president's son,
We're gonna
would he have
look
invited
more.
someone
We're
who
going
just
to do that
reached
after
the
this
agreement
video.
with
We're
several
going to
volunteers?
Well,
watch
a
that.
couple of things. Again, that's his son. He's a family
Just
member. It is
gotta
not common for
finish
family
the
members to attend, events
gotta
at the
finish
White House.
reading this.
Past
We'll
presidents, I'm sure you have.
listen.
So that is not.
Sorry if I'm talking over. We'll listen to this. I'll finish reading that BBC article, then we'll react.
Not uncommon as it relates to anything related to Hunter. I'm just not going to respond to it from here.
Can I follow up on that?
Okay. No, I just called in some way. Go ahead.
Yeah. So, but I mean, so Kirby wouldn't answer James's question, though. Are you going to answer the question? I mean, not a reasonable question to ask, but the President of the United States was involved, as this message seems to suggest, in some sort of a coercive conversation for business dealings by his son. Is that something, if he wasn't, then maybe you should tell us.
So here's the thing, and I appreciate the question. I believe my colleague at the White House Counsel has answered this question already, has dealt with this, has made it
Referencing
very clear.
Kirby, John Kerry, and also had the press pool turn against him, is what I'm hearing. And what I see from some of the videos. That's because I actually looked at the videos. They were.
I just don't.
I mean,
have
I
anything
could
to
bring
share
up.
outside of what my colleagues have.
Don't have enough time. Maybe enough. Maybe if we have time, because I've got dinner and also Tuesday night's main event.
Have shared
In an
and
hour.
So I would refer you to him and the
Got
DOJ.
tuned
Just
to
not
that.
a comment from here. What I can tell you is I know that my colleague has dealt with this. He addressed this at the White House Council. I just don't have anything else to share. I just answered the question. I just answered the question.
No, you did that. Yes or no, was the president involved in the
I just
shakedown?
Stephen, I just answered the question. It's not up to you how I answer the question. I just answered the question by telling you my colleagues at the White House Council has dealt with this, and I would refer you to them. Go ahead.
Why can't you answer the question? Answer the question, dummy.
Remind us what your colleague said from the White House Council, so we have it.
I would refer you to them, and they will share their statement with all of you.
She's not that smart, people. She's not that smart.
From that podium, you've stated that the president stands by his comment from the 2020 campaign that he never once discussed his son's overseas business dealings with his son. And you stood at that podium and you reaffirmed that. Do you stand by your reaction?
What I will say is nothing has changed. Nothing has changed. And I will leave it there. Anything else, I will refer you to the White House Council.
This is not a change?
I just answered the question. You just
Oh
asked
my
me,
God.
does my statement change? I just told you nothing has changed. That's answering the question. Go ahead. Go ahead.
What
Go ahead.
state?
Go ahead, Stephen. I'm calling on your colleague right now. Go ahead.
Thank you. To follow up on my colleague, is there anything that you can say with regard to this text message and what the president's son was alleging? Was the president there or not?
I would refer you to my colleagues at the White House Council.
Is that her?
Address this?
I will refer you to my colleagues at the White House Council. I only have one. I was almost about to play the low tier God clip I have. That would have been really bad. Oh God, that would have been really bad. I always meant to play the yellow receipt test clip.
Refer you to them. Go ahead.
Shereen, have you spoken to the president about this? Have you asked him whether he was there with his son on July 30th?
This is not a conversation that I've had with the president. Again, I would refer you to the
Oh
White
my
House
God.
Have that conversation
You
with the president?
You probably should. You probably should. Just saying.
Speak with the attorney general at all?
I cannot say if the president had a conversation with the attorney general last night. What I can refer you to is the White House counsel's office as it relates to the allegations. They've already addressed this. This is something for them to deal with. I refer you to the Department of Justice on anything else if you don't want to speak to the White House counsel's office.
And there was reporting earlier in the week that after the plea agreement was reached by Hunter Biden, that the president felt relieved that that part of it was behind him. Is that true? Can you
I
speak
can't
to his
speak to that. I cannot speak to the president's mindset. Again, I would refer you to the White House counsel's office. Get it.
Oh, yeah, thank
So that's, and back to this. So share this tab. So where were we? If approved by a judge, the terms of the agreement will keep Hunter Biden out of jail. He's expected to agree to a drug treatment and monitoring. The younger Biden's well-documented personal travails, including a public marital breakup and a drug addiction, has spilled over into politics since his father entered the White House. His porn addiction as well. But what more do we know about Hunter Biden? So this is just a summary. So born in Wilmington, Delaware in 1970, the President Biden, his first wife. Yeah, so I guess yeah, because that was a tragedy that Biden had. Hunter was given his mother's maiden name as his first name. He was only 2 years old in December 1972 when, less than 6 weeks after his father's election to the Senate. A truck rammed into the family car and took the lives of his mother and baby sister, Naomi. Again, tragedy. I think that's a lot of what has to do with I'm not sure if he ever recovered. The accident left him with a fractured skull and his older brother, Bo, with a broken leg. The elder Mr. Biden, who was not in the car, took his oath of office from their hospital room. Hunter later graduated Georgetown University and Yale Law School, graduating in 1996. Between the two degrees, he joined the Jesuit Volunteer Corps, a Catholic group that volunteered to serve marginalized communities. Good thing, I'd say. There he met his first wife, Kathleen Buhl, I can't pronounce that, a lawyer, and they wed in 1993. So he was married before he graduated. They had 3 children. Naomi, that's kind of nice that he named his daughter after his baby sister. I do have to, if any of this, remember, it's still mainstream. Though I will say this is probably true. Finnegan and Maisie, but the pair split in 2017. The darkness of addiction. His father is teetotal, but Hunter started drinking as a teenager and confessed to abusing cocaine as a college student. He has been in and out of rehab. In 2013, he signed up for the U.S. Navy Reserves and took the oath of office before his father, then vice president, in a White House ceremony. But on his very first day at the naval base, he tested positive for cocaine use and was discharged, something he later said he was embarrassed by. According to the New Yorker, he drank excessively after the death of his older brother, Bo, from brain cancer in 2015, sometimes only leaving the house to buy vodka. I think he needed more help. I'm not sure if the rehab wasn't good enough. During an acrimonious divorce filing in 2017, Miss Buell accused Hunter of spending extravagantly on his own interests, including drugs, alcohol, prostitutes, strip club, and gift for women whom he had sexual relations with. This is where the porn addiction comes in, while leaving the family with no funds to pay legitimate bills. Breaking their silence last year on how their 24-year marriage unraveled, Miss Buell told Good Morning America he was struggling under a massive drug addiction. That's heartbreaking and painful. And that wasn't who I was married to. In 2021, in his 2021 memoir, Beautiful Things, Hunter confessed that his infidelity to Miss Buell was the final straw in their marriage. A DNA test in 2019 found he was the biological and legal father of a child born to an exotic dancer, Ludin Alexis Roberts. Hunter claimed to have no recollection of their encounter in his memoir, but he has settled a paternity issue with Miss Roberts and now pays her child support. And before his split from Miss Buell was finalized, Hunter began a relationship with his brother's Haley Biden for 2 years, buying over the shared and very specific grief of their loss, he told the New Yorker. Mere weeks later, Hunter wed South African filmmaker Melissa Cohen after a whirlwind 6-day romance. They have one son. Speaking out in 2019 on his story with addiction, he said, "You don't get rid of it. You figure out how to deal with it." In Beautiful Things, he credits his survival to his family's love, recounting an intervention when his father held him in embrace, saying, "I don't know what else to do. I'm scared. Tell me what to do." The New York Times reported that he had turned to painting as a form of therapy, quoting him as saying that it keeps me away from people and places where I shouldn't be. I mean, it's not the best art in the world, but at least you're not doing porn. I mean, you don't want to check his lap. New York Times. But a 2021 art exhibition to sell his paintings for up to $50,000 a piece created an ethics dilemma for the Biden White House. I remember this. Mixing family and business. This is a long one. After graduating from Yale Law School, Hunter worked at MBNA America, a bank holding company headquartered in Delaware and later acquired by Bank of America. However, his father's close relationship with the bank was one of the largest employers in Delaware, and a top contributor to his political campaigns, earned him the unfavorable moniker of the senator from MBNA. As the younger Biden rose to the ranks of executive vice president, his father pushed bankruptcy reform legislation favorable to the bank through the Senate. Kind of doesn't seem very ethical. Not going to say it's corrupt, but it doesn't seem ethical. In the early 2000s, while still receiving consulting fees from the bank, Hunter opened a Washington lobbying practice that, according to Politico magazine, saw him land clients with interests that overlapped his father's committee assignments and legislative priorities. The father-son relationship at the time, he told the New Yorker, was that neither would speak to the other about lobbying work. President Biden has maintained this to be true in the case of a more recent allegation of wrongdoing as well. In 2006, then Senator Biden set to assume chairmanship of the Senate Foreign Relations Committee. His son and another relative made an ill-fated purchase of a hedge fund group, Paradigm Global Advisors, PGA. Their tenure at Paradigm extended through Joe Biden's 2008 run for president and selection as vice president to Barack Obama. During this time, the fund was connected with several alleged criminal frauds, including a Texas financier convicted of running one of the largest Ponzi schemes in U.S. history. God, I forgot. I think I know who they're talking about. The Bidens denied any wrongdoing and faced no charges. In 2010, they liquidated the fund and returned money to investors. Ex-President Trump and the Republican Party have argued that the foreign business dealings involving Biden's son were questionable and conflicts of interest. From 2013 to 2016, he held a board seat at the Chinese private equity firm BHR Partners, first as an unpaid member and later owning a 10% equity stake in the fund. Mr. Trump, who has insisted Joe Biden is China's puppet, repeatedly pointed to this position as alleged evidence of his rival's corruption. After his father left the White House in 2017, Hunter partnered with Chinese billionaire Yang, an oil tycoon on a natural gas project in Louisiana. The deal appears to have collapsed after Ye was detained by Chinese authorities on corruption charges and subsequently went missing. There's audio tape actually of him saying, My dad's missing. My dad, not my dad, I mean, he's missing. Hey, about him panicking. It's somewhere. Hello? Oh, comments. Fortunately, I think I'm going to have to wrap this article up. We're not going to be able to get to that video, but you can read the rest. Unfortunately, I've got to go to dinner. So if you like what you've seen, please like, share, subscribe, and go. I will be posting more information later about my Rumble now, but without further ado, unfortunately, I've got to go eat dinner right now. I hope you've wish this could be longer, but gotta eat. I will talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem.